It's holding you back. It's stopping you. It is draining you of who you truly are and what you're capable of and how great of a person you can be, how much you can excel and flourish in your dreams.
You're listening to the Absolutely Cosmic Podcast.
Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Absolutely Cosmic Podcast, where we talk about anything self-improvement from the nerdy perspective. I'm your host, Joshua Salgado, and today I want to tell you something very, very important. And stick to the end, because this whole video is going to give you peace of mind. You need to stop caring what other people think of you. It's holding you back. It's stopping you. It is draining you of who you truly are and what you're capable of and how great of a person you can be, how much you can excel and flourish in your dreams. And we're going to get into that. First, I want to talk about why. Why do you need to stop caring about what other people think? Well, it's quite obvious. It's quite obvious for any of those, myself included, who struggle with the idea of what other people think of us. Am I good enough to them? Essentially, that's the standard. Do I live up to their standards, right? Am I flowing in their way, right? And maybe I don't think of that directly, but it sure often sucks when people are like, oh, when I was your age, I had my college degree. Or when I was your age, I had this house. When I was your age, I had this nice of a car. When I was your age, I had a career. And then you start to feel like, well, what am I? Like, what am I doing in my life? Or even better yet, story time. About a year ago, as you guys know, I struggled with mental health. I was suicidal. I was going to make a very bad decision, right? And one of the contributing things, and I won't say who, but someone within the family circle had a conversation with me, and they said, and at this point I was going part-time college. I was taking a few courses just to feel the waters and figure out what I wanted to fucking do. And hey, they turned to me in this conversation and they said, sometimes you need to choose a career or a degree that's going to make you a lot of money and not so much what you're passionate about. So then I decided to go to engineering science. I never wanted to be a fucking engineer. Why the fuck did I choose that? I don't know. Because I was trying to live up to that person's standards, to prove to them whatever. I don't even have a logical explanation. But I'll tell you this, I resented college. My grades were so terrible. My grades were awful. I resented going to class. I resented the assignments. I did not like my professor. I hated everything about it. I started my social media journey at this time. I was like, fuck it. Andrew Tate's popular. I'm going to pretend to be an Andrew Tate now. Obviously, maybe contributing that some of my, my videography skills weren't as developed then, right? I didn't have a fancy mic and nice cameras and cool lighting system and kind of, I didn't have a brand either. I didn't have an identity either. I was just making videos about, I did a lot of book reviews on philosophy books. So I was reading like the Book of Five Rings. I was reading Meditations. I was reading a little bit of Shakespeare. I was listening to a lot of philosophy podcasts and stuff. So I was doing a little bit of that, as well as Loadmaster Reacts, which we might bring back. I remember the Loadmaster Reacts and the other types of videos that I did actually did really, really fucking well compared to the videos where I tried to pretend to be like Andrew Tate. And I wasn't pretending to be like him, but I was trying to put up this tough facade because I was like, I just got off deployment. I'm a tough guy. Like, I'm a badass. I'm a warrior. I could beat the shit out of Andrew Tate. I was trying to be somebody I'm not. Like, I'm not that guy that's going to come up there and be like, yeah, man, like, no. Like, I may go to the gym. I may be tough. I may have a job that you have to have a little bit of grit for, but that's not me. That's not my personality, right? I'm a human being, and I'm a very compassionate person, right? And I don't know why I never just put my heart into that and just I'm a nerd. Like, I don't know why I didn't put my heart into that. And so those videos did shitty. I couldn't even make one 3-minute video a week. Like, I was just burnt out constantly, depressed, miserable, because I was trying to live up to the standards of society, live up to the standards of other people in my circle, live up to the standards of friends and family. I saw my other friends pursuing things that made sense, I guess, in the common formula of life. And I was like, oh, I saw other people at the gym, right? I had friends that were, they'd work out less than me. They'd eat shittier than me, and they were ripped. They were gigantic. They were buff, right? And I was like, what the fuck? And so I was really, really disheartened. I wasn't myself. I didn't have any, there was nothing here. There was nothing here in my heart, nothing here in my brain that felt good. I did not feel passionate about anything. I did not feel the fire. I was chained down. No wonder why I was in that very dark place where I was going to make a very crappy decision. And if you are service member or not, if you ever are in that dark situation, listen, my DMs are always fucking open. If you're my friend who listens to this podcast and you have my number or any social medias, right? Text me, call me. I don't give a fuck any time of the day. If you're not a close friend, DM me, text me. I will respond and help you out the best I can. I think I'm going to start leaving a mental health crisis line down below, because I think the biggest thing about this podcast is talking about how self-improvement from the perspective of those in that dark place who don't know where to go, who are sitting there in an indecisive place. And for sure, you can say that it's because, what you're eating, or you're not working out enough, or you're not pursuing something right. These self-improvement guys, they're talking to a very specific formula. But at the reality, it's also the mental games that you're putting yourself through. When you start living to other people's standards, when you keep caring about what other people think of you, and you can't just be audaciously yourself, you can't just be crazy and yourself and hyper or introvert or whatever you are, pursuing whatever you're passionate about, then you lose the essential reality of humanity itself. You lose who you are. You lose your identity. And you become gray. You become depressed. You're chained down. You will never flourish in a career field, in a pathway that other people have laid down for you and have told you this is what you need to do. Now, I'm not saying go and just rebel against everything, but if you come from a family of scholars and you want to join the service, let's say, you want to join a military, whatever branch you decide you want to join, and your family's like, oh, don't do it, it's not good for you, but you want to do it, then fucking do it. You come from a family of military, but you want to go to school for film. You come from a family of military scholar, whatever it is, right? You come from a family of artists, right? And it's not just your family, but even when you get to the workplace, and a lot of times it's like the old heads, it's like the older people who are comparing their life to yours. They're often miserable in where they ended up because they didn't pursue the passions that they wanted to, or they did, and they're just bragging to be a dick. And the reality is that you are where you need to be right now. Stop caring what other people think. Stop caring. I have an exercise for you. I want you to take 3 minutes. Fuck it. We're not doing 3. Take as long as the time as you need. Grab out a piece of paper, not your phone, not anything else. Grab out a piece of fucking paper. Take out a pen or a pencil and write down, who do you want to be? What do you want to pursue? What are your passions? It doesn't have to be organized. It could be a list. It could be organized. Just write down, what are you passionate about? What are your dreams? What are your ideas? Who are you? And that is what you should do. Take all the time you need. Do it over and over. Because here's the thing is when you have lived your life caring about what other people think of you, and you cannot just be outwardly yourself, there is a lot of subconscious chains that you're building in that head. You've been programmed to live inside a box, to live inside a maze that other people have built for you. And so you need to break that. And what I do oftentimes when I realize that I'm falling into a pathway of what other people think I should be doing, I literally brainstorm on a piece of paper. Like, I literally have computer, I have an editing, I could make videos, I could do whatever it is, right? But at paper, pencil, paper, I have a notebook. In my notebook, there's not much organization other than like my power list or my checklist for the day. It's literally just craziness. And I just write down sometimes my ideas. Who do I want to be? What do I want to be? Why do I want to be it? Right? And why you need to do this is because as you do this, right, and you focus on that, right, what's going to happen is you're going to get to the root cause of why. Why is it that you want to go be a Navy SEAL? Why is it that you want to go be an Army Ranger? Why is it that you want to go be a famous actor? Why do you want to be a millionaire? Is it because you want to impress a certain set of people, someone in your life you want to say, fuck you, I did it, to prove them something? Or is it because you genuinely have a passion for everything it is about that? And if that's the case, then go pursue that. That's why I tell you to do this exercise, because reality hits that you should pursue your life in the way that you envision it, not what other people envision for you. And if you're not where you want to be, then keep working towards it. And if people have to say anything against that, if you're working towards who and where and what you want to be, and people are still saying, oh, I did this, you should be doing this, oh, this, you should, Monday morning quarterbacking you, in your head, in your heart, say, fuck you, I'm still doing what I need to do. Now, if they're giving you constructive criticism on how you can do something, right? How you can improve as a human being, take that. And this is the challenging part, because I'm not saying follow in the chains, but if they're like, oh, if you want to be an actor, I did extras, right? I was an extra for this and this. This is what I did. Okay. Oh, when I was at your point in life, I had a house. And let's say you're trying to buy a house soon. Well, what did you do, right? This is what I did. Oftentimes they'll give you little nuggets, because most of the time, and maybe I'm just not a pessimist. Maybe I just have a positive posture on other people's ideologies. But oftentimes people say things from a point of care. They just say it in a way to also keep you in line, if that makes sense. People don't want to hurt you. I think people just want the best for you, and they think the best for you sometimes is following the formula because they see it a certain way. They're not in the driver's seat, right? This perspective change, right? If I'm sitting in the driver's seat driving a car, it's different in the passenger side as it is in the back, in the rear, as it is maybe if I'm on a bus and I'm in the way back or the way front, right? Perspective is a hell of a thing. If I'm in an airplane looking down at something versus driving and looking at it, it's a different perspective. And oftentimes people will tell you what they think is the right thing to do with your life, or they say, oh, I was here at your age, whatever, because they're trying to be positive in some way. But in reality, you get to this point where you're people pleasing, right? You start going to the gym, right? And you're like, oh, I hope people don't think I'm bad. I hope people don't think I suck. Hope I don't look stupid. Oh, who gives a fuck if they do? Reality is we're all going to fucking die. All right. The reality is, do you know anyone from ancient Egypt? Like personally, can you say, oh, that person that they didn't pursue the life that they should have? Society changes. The world changes. Life changes. I mean, hell, in the early 1900s, living to 60 was a long life. Living to 50 or 60 years old was a long life. Now living to 90 or 100 years old is almost standard. And I think in the future, it'll probably be a little bit further than that. So why is it that you care so much to the people that in 100 years time, less than 100 years time, probably, they're not on this earth anymore? God bless them, right? Hopefully they have the best life ever and they get to fulfill their life in the way that they want to. But in 100 years time or so, you're not going to be here anymore. I'm not going to be here. No one's going to be here. It is digital shit, the videos, the social media. That shit's not going to matter. Nothing's going to matter. Does it really fucking matter? When I'm old, you ever see an old person like out in public? They do like a 90-year-old who's like, they're not like confused as shit trying to give a speech. Anyway, you ever see like an elderly person outside and they're, they're capable of doing things. They're still sharp. They do not give a flying fuck. They will say whatever. They do not give a fuck. They are just who they are. They don't care what you think. They'll drive 10 miles an hour. They're going to go in, argue with you about the coupons, and then they'll drop some wisdom and leave, right? You do not give a fuck. They'll say something out of pocket. You ever have an old person say something so out of pocket and it's hilarious? It's the truth. Stop giving a flying fuck about what people think, because it is draining you. It is destroying you. You will never be successful living someone else's formula for you, living someone else's what you should do. Stop caring. And I know it's harder, but it's a daily practice. You need to get up. And when you start feeling this way, you start feeling down because someone thinks of you poorly, just do the mental gymnastics. Take a minute. What I do, I practice box breathing like many times a day. What I do is I literally 3 seconds in, hold for 3 seconds, 3 seconds out. And then what I do is just think, is this person genuinely giving me executable things on what I want to do? Like, what do I want to do? Right? What do I want to do? Right? What are my dreams? What is my goal? Right? With whatever it is, right? And then am I making strides toward it? Am I making efforts towards it? And if you aren't, then that's a whole different issue, and you should attempt. You should try, right? You should start. You should go. But if not, then, well, if you're making the effort, right? You're pursuing your dreams. Who gives a fuck what people think? That person, all right, here's the thing. Right now, I'm inside a building right now. No one else is with me except for my dog. Nobody knows what's going on. Nobody gives a fuck what's going on in this area, right? Who gives a flying shit, guys? Who cares what other people think of you? At the end of the day, we're all going to die. Nothing is left. We're going to be dust. And I don't mean to be dark, but the truth is the truth. Humanity will live on without you, will live on without other people, right? Those people are going to go and they're going to do their own thing. I guarantee you. Let's say you have an awkward moment, right? Yeah, you know, you're at the gym, right? The front desk person's like, have a great workout. And you say, you too. And you walk away all uncomfortable. Your tail's tucked between your legs. Like, fuck, now I got to go move, to Norway and like start a life and become a Viking. You know what I mean, though? Like, at the end of the day, nobody's going to remember that. Like, 99% of the world is not going to remember a random awkward situation. People don't give a flying fuck that much. People may say, oh, do you still live, you don't have a house, you still live this way, you still do this way. What are you doing with your life? Blah, 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 blah. You should do this. Everyone's going to Monday morning quarterback you. But this, unless they give you executable evidence, executable support on what you're trying to do, constructive criticism on what you're trying to do as a human being, then don't. And if you're following your purpose and you're steadfast, and I guarantee you, the easiest way to start your journey and stop caring what other people think is, again, get onto that piece of paper. Write down every idea you have of who, what, where, why you want to be. Almost like a vision board. You ever hear about those? You literally and now with AI, you can tailor exactly what you want. Exactly what you want. You literally write down, right, everything that you want exactly. And then from there, what are you going to do? Well, you decide. And you really get into the nitty-gritty. You meditate. Why do I want it? And if other people's names, society things, like if it becomes outwardly, right, that you want to do things because, you want to go become a Army Ranger because you want to impress that girl that broke up with you. Well, maybe that's not the best choice of action. Or you want to become an Army Ranger because you want to, be one of the greatest warriors of our nation, right? You want to be challenged. You like the idea. You maybe you have family members who are in and were about that lifestyle and were in the unit, right? Whatever it is, maybe you don't, but maybe your heart's there, right? And if you can just pinpoint on what you want, you will stop caring about what other people think because you become so focused. It's like a horse with blinders on, right? You want to be the first man on the moon. You want to be the first man on Mars, right? Well, then you're so focused about it. You're putting all this effort into it, right? You're going to stop caring because you're so obsessed because you have work. Work has to be done. Like you have work constantly to do to become and to grow as who you want to be. Do not for any chance of the way. Do not for any moment think that you are less. Think that other people know what's best for you. Like maybe in some situations, people who care about you, but they'll come to you in a way of care, right? They're not going to be like, oh, you should be doing this, right? Oh, you should do this, or, oh, my age, I was doing this, and it's a way to almost like put you down. It's like, what are you doing with your life kind of attitude? Then fuck them. Those are the people you don't even need in your life. And if they have to be in your life, they're coworkers, let's say, or they're maybe classmates, just, be that bare minimum of what you can, engage with them at the bare minimum, right? Don't engage, fuck them. Don't tell them what you're doing because here's the thing is you already telling them, oh, hey, I'm going to be a filmmaker. It's almost like you're seeking validation. If be steadfast in what you want because you fucking want it. And you can do it the best. I know you can do it the best. If you know deep down from your heart that you can be the best of the best of the best at something, or that's something that you truly fucking want. Every day you wake up, you live, breathe, and eat. You're obsessed with it. Fuck them. Screw it. Everybody wants to tell you how to live your life. Everybody's going to say you need to follow the formula. The people who don't follow the formula are the ones who innovate the world and become the greatest, right? Every artist is almost like a rebel. Every artist goes against the grain. Like, fuck them. If everybody thinks that you're not doing enough for who you are, where you're at, whatever, then fuck them. You don't need those people in your life. And it's the truth. And again, in 50 years time, in 100 years time, none of this is going to matter. We're all dead. Like, the reality is humanity has existed for over, safely to say, 100 to 200,000 years. 100 to 200,000 years. Think about that. How long that is. How many generations that is. That's about almost 100 to 200 generations of people have existed on this planet. Do you think it matters if they followed the grain or not? If they followed the pack, if they followed what was formulaic? They're dead now. I don't know. You don't know. We don't know. Just live your life, dude. Or do that. Like, do whatever you got to do to be happy yourself. And oftentimes, like, if you walk into the gym and you're worried about how you look or how you appear, or if you're doing something stupid, oftentimes nobody's really even noticing you because they're so focused on themselves. They're so insecure themselves, or they're so focused on trying to work out themselves that they're not even paying attention to you. And this is a testament, because I've gone to the gym, said hi to people, and they forgot that they even said hi to me sometimes, right? Like friends that I've seen, like, oh shit, you're here. Hey, what's up? Or, yeah, I don't know. I think that's my honest opinion. Just be yourself. That if people don't enjoy that, like, who are they to you? I am above nor below any other man. I am on the same plane as every other person. I am nor above nor below any other human being, on the same plane as they are. So no other man, no other person is going to dictate my purpose as a human being. If you're going to take anything away, take that away. Because at the end of the day, they are human beings just like you. And oftentimes they just want to help you. Or oftentimes they're so insecure and resentful about their failures and them not pursuing their dreams and them not pursuing what they wanted and them not being themselves, right? They're not truly real. They're going to run around and try to make other people feel like shit because of what they're not. So focus on what you are. Focus on what you are, not what you're not. It's hard. I get it. So I want to thank you guys for listening. This podcast, I feel like, is kind of in the roots of where we started, in a way, a kind of rambling kind of. I didn't really want to organize it. I wanted to go off the cuff. I've been kind of wanting to do one like that lately. So peace, guys. Thank you for listening. Jesus, can't do hands. Just got the crooked fingers, you know. All right. Peace, guys. Thank you for listening.